How is Israel contributing to the development of the lives of ordinary South Africans? Has South Africa or Israel benefited from their trade relations? How cordial are the diplomatic relations between Israel and South Africa? And how can South Africans contribute to bring peace between Israel and Palestine? What time is it? It's question time. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tsedu. Various attempts by the likes of the South African Communist Party to get the ambassador of Israel expelled from South Africa have failed. This was a clear indication that South Africa values its relationship with the State of Israel. Meanwhile, the ongoing tensions between Israel and Palestine continue to pose a challenge to the international community. The United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has urged Israel to reaffirm its commitment to the two-state solution. For its part, South Africa remains committed to maintaining strong diplomatic and economic ties with the Middle East country. This, among other things, in recognition of South African people of Jewish origin's contribution to the country's liberation struggle. A reminder that this is a live program, and you can participate if you want to by calling us on 089-110-4210 or 0027891104210. Our Twitter handle is question-time24. You can also follow me on Twitter at Mpho Tsedu, and we'll be taking your tweets live at Mpho Tsedu. My guest, Israeli Ambassador to South Africa, His Excellency Arthur Lenk. Excellency, welcome to Question Time.
Thanks, Mpho. It's great to be back.
I don't know whether I should complain or what, but I say you're coming to studio and I get questions mainly about Palestine. But that's not what I wanted to talk to you about first. But like I said, you know, the callers can call. And if they want to talk to you and ask you questions, the number, like I said, to dial is 089-110-4210. If you've got a question that you'd like to post to the ambassador of Israel, that is Arthur Lenk. However, I'm concerned. What is Israel doing to improve the lives of ordinary South Africans?
Well, I think we're doing a lot. And I think that there's lots of opportunity for South Africans and for Israelis. We do over 10 billion rand of trade every year. And you may know that Israel is a startup nation. We have lots of innovations and technologies that I think create opportunities and build skills of ordinary South Africans. And I think at the same time, South Africans have things that they can do to help Israel and our neighbors.
Okay. And currently, let's talk about, tangible things. What are you doing? You can see there's some tomatoes here. And I hope.
Well, you know, South Africa is a dry country. You don't get enough rain. Here we are at the beginning of spring now. I hope lots of rain comes. But farmers don't get enough rain. And in Israel, we use drip irrigation. We invented it. And it allows farmers to be more successful.
Yes.
But you know, this dripper that comes from Israel, it doesn't come from Israel. It's manufactured in a factory in the Western Cape by South Africans, providing jobs, export opportunities, and more high-tech, more technologies that are used for small-scale and large farmers in South Africa.
Okay. And I'm interested in the tomatoes here.
Well, the tomatoes are interesting. The tomatoes, Israel is known for its fruits and vegetables and its agriculture.
Yes.
And one supermarket chain calls these tomatoes Israeli tomatoes.
Yeah.
I think because they know that the customers know that they're high quality. But where are they grown? They're grown in Limpopo. They're grown by a partnership between the largest vegetable grower in South Africa, ZZ2, and the Israeli company Chishtil, the world-leading seedling company. And so they grow these amazing tomatoes, and they're the most expensive tomatoes they have in the supermarket. But people still come and buy them because when they hear they're Israeli tomatoes, they know they're good. So taste.
So, okay, well, maybe I won't taste them now, but I'll take them home if you don't mind. But so, these Israeli tomatoes are actually not from Israel.
No, they're from Limpopo. They're South African tomatoes. And if you look at the bottom of the label, they're product of the Republic of South Africa. They create jobs, they create profit, they create benefits for South Africa.
So why are they called Israeli tomatoes then?
Because I think that the shopper, when they see the word Israeli, it's a brand. It's quality, it's good, it's tasty. You'll see when you taste it. It's the best tomato that they sell.
Okay. Let's leave the tomatoes. You've got other gadgets here. Let's just talk about this quickly.
Well, here, this is another thing too. This is an Israeli fruit called a persimmon. But again, I'm going to tell you, now, persimmon is not something indigenous to South Africa. It's an orange fruit that grows in the autumn in Israel. But the Israeli company came to the realization that they could only export in the autumn because the fruit only grows 3 months a year. But the autumn in your country is different than the autumn in mine, right? The seasons are opposite because you're in the southern hemisphere. And so by growing persimmons in South Africa, also in the Western Cape, in Swellendam, they grow using Israeli technology, Israeli technique, but they're marketed. 90% of the persimmons that are grown in the Western Cape are exported to France and to Germany by the same buyers that buy the Israeli fruit. In season, 2,000 jobs. A whole factory worth of capability, job potential, and technology for the citizens of South Africa. And it's delicious.
Okay, you're really on a serious marketing drive here. Then there's something that you were talking to me earlier about, which has got to do with HIV prevention. It's a circumcision tool or something of that sort.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is just a little piece of plastic, right? And one of the challenges, and South Africa faces this challenge too, is that circumcision reduces the risk of HIV by 70%. And so the World Health Organization challenged innovators to create a low-cost, non-surgical tool to allow for safe, accessible circumcision. An Israeli inventor, an Israeli doctor, invented this device. It's used in the national programs in Uganda and in Rwanda, and it's about to become part of the national program of HIV prevention here in South Africa. This device is called Prepex. Once it goes online, it's going to save tens of thousands of young men's lives. It's going to reduce their risk of HIV, and its benefit to everyone is obvious. And it comes from Israel.
And there actually was a tweet, somebody asking, how can Israel assist arable land owners here in South Africa? Because, I mean, you're from a desert. Israel is a desert, effectively, but the agriculture there seems to be going quite strong.
Well, it's very strong. And what we do is we take care of every drop of water. And we talked about drip irrigation earlier. And so one of the things that I've done during my 2 years in South Africa is I travel around your amazing, beautiful country. I was in Mpumalanga last week, and I was in the Eastern Cape not long before that. And we brought Israeli companies and talked about advanced technologies, not expensive ones that could be used by small-scale farmers and using modern techniques. Instead of just spilling water on the land, it creates more careful water use, saves money, is easy to use, and will make profits for South African farmers.
Okay, hold the thought there. I want us to take a quick break. When we return, we'll be taking your calls, 089-1104-210, any question you want to ask, including Palestine. This is question time.
Several thousand migrants are adrift in boats in Southeast Asian seas.
The refugees have been abandoned at sea by human smugglers with little food and water.
The UN has appealed to the governments of Thailand, Indonesia and Malaysia to act quickly to avert a massive humanitarian crisis.
Leaders will meet in Dar es Salaam on Wednesday to discuss the political crisis in Burundi.
At least 19 people have been killed and more than 200 wounded during violent protests against President Nkurunziza's bid for a third term.
Primetime News, daily at 6 p.m.
Welcome to Network, a technology news program that also discusses what's trending in social media in and around Africa. MTN has launched its new movie and television streaming service, Front Row. If it's trending, we will find it. That's Network with me, Siphumelele Zondi, every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. only on the SABC News Channel.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time, and today my guest is the Israeli ambassador to South Africa, His Excellency Arthur Lenk. Now, there's a project that you're doing, Funda, it is called?
Well, we had an innovation contest. We publicized throughout South Africa saying that Israel is startup nation. But there are lots of people who have startup ideas in South Africa. And so we publicized all over the startup communities in South Africa, and 50 different companies came us with their ideas. The winning prize gets to go to Israel and to show their idea to investors from Israel. And a company called Funda, a company that promotes education technology in South Africa, was one of the two winners. Here, we have a short video.
Okay.
Can we show it?
Yeah, let's...
At Funda, we've developed a next generation learning tool to help educators deliver more personalized learning by using our platform to flip the classroom and take advantage of the power of technology to better understand student performance.
Current learning management systems have not been designed to personalize the learning experience for students and the teaching experience for teachers. We at Funda have developed the future of education technology by collaborating with experts across the world.
So we're fortunate to be working with continuing education at University of Pretoria, the largest continuing education institution in Africa.
Our goal is to transform Africa through education in the next 20 years. We plan to do this through collaborations and partnerships with people across the world. And looking at Israel and this booming startup ecosystem, we believe we would not only have a great market opportunity for new startups there, but also we can leverage through the technology and expertise in Israel to provide a more holistic learning experience for our learners in Africa.
Okay, don't forget that you're still watching Question Time. The number to dial 089-1104-210. Patrick, you are in Rodiport. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Your Excellency. Good evening, Your Excellency.
I can't hear you very well. Patrick, if you could just speak a bit louder.
Yes, I'm saluting the Excellency. It's a pleasure having the Excellency on this show.
Patrick,
are you hearing me?
No, I'm battling to hear you. Are you able to speak a little bit louder?
I said we are privileged to have the Excellency on the show.
Okay.
The problem that the Palestine have is actually not against the nation of Israel, but for those who divided the nations. They were the one who caused the accidents in history. And I want the ambassador to do his level best to educate them through this very program, to let them know how the entire thing came about. They shouldn't focus on Israel as their enemy, but rather those who divided nations, who balkanized the nations all over the world.
Okay, Patrick, let me thank you. I'm really battling. I don't know if you picked up what he was saying.
Well, but I think he's right. What he's saying is South Africa and your history have so many great messages about making peace, about how problems that can't look like they can't be solved to the world can be solved. You solved an impossible problem. You still have issues. You still have questions. But South Africa is an inspiration to the world. I think it can be an inspiration to Israelis and to Palestinians that you have to negotiate and compromise, and not violence, not through war. You make peace through talking and through compromise.
Okay, there's a tweet here and from Suraya Dadu. Says, by focusing on Israel's business strength, does Ambassador Lenk hide Israel's occupation of Palestinian territories?
Well, I'm not interested in hiding it here. We just had a question and I'm talking about making peace. Israelis and Palestinians need to talk more to each other. Israel made peace with two of our neighbors, with Egypt and with Jordan, and things are better for all of our countries. We need to make peace with our Palestinian neighbors. We need to make peace with our Lebanese neighbors. Our Syrian neighbors have been suffering through incredible violence. 250,000 Syrians have been killed. My whole region is in turmoil, except for one democracy, one country that's giving rights to all its people, and that's Israel.
Okay. Charles, you are in Durban.
Yes, Paul.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Look, Impo, firstly, point number one. Your program is too small. You must make it 1 hour.
Oh, okay.
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 And the other thing is that our entire human race is dependent on Israel. Because God said, I will bless them that bless you, I will curse them that curse you. You got a very important guest there, His Excellency. Okay. And you must make the best use of your time. And God bless you too. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much.
Well, firstly, it's nice to emphasize the point that we have friends all over South Africa. And friends, whether they're Jewish or Christian or Muslim, are focused on the Holy Land and understand that peace in the Holy Land and that good things, that all of our faiths come back to there, and that we're blessed when we help each other, when we work together, when we work for peace. And I'm glad to hear Durban talking that way.
Okay. Well, Kuli Roberts says, I'm hoping that Mpo will ask you about the kibbutz. Are they still popular and are they still relevant?
Well, she's right. A kibbutz is a communal farm in Israel, and they existed historically before the founding of the State of Israel, and through today, they become more modernized. Israel is not a communist society. We're very capitalist in these days. But a lot of innovation, a lot of creativity, a lot of lessons on how to work together as a group and create more as a group together than each of us could on our own.
Okay, there are some tweets that I'm hoping that we'll get them on screen as soon as possible. However, I think before all right, I think we're going to get them within a short space of time. Let's see. Oh, this is also from Soraya. Says, Mpo, is Israel a true partner for peace? Looking at this, the Prime Minister says there will be no concessions or withdrawals. How serious is Israel about negotiations when its Prime Minister says this? The Minister of Justice says we should manage the conflict and not give up on any centimeter of land. Our plan is to annex Area C. And the Minister of Agriculture, we need to state clearly there won't be a Palestinian state west of the Jordan River. Let's just talk about this.
This one lady, she sent a lot of tweets.
Yeah.
She must be an activist. But at the same time, Israel's government policy is to make peace and to compromise. We've made peace with other neighbors. We've shown that we're a partner. Let's sit down on the table. Let's negotiate with each other. Let's not send missiles. Let's not send suicide bombers. Let's talk. Let's non-violently discuss. Israel knows how to make peace. We need to make peace because it's good for Israelis and for Palestinians.
Now, the two-state solution, this is always the question. Does it have the support of the leadership of Israel politics?
Well, it does. The Prime Minister has said clearly a number of times, over and over again, that he does believe that our future is an Israeli state, a continuing. We've existed for 68 years and thrived. And next to us, a Palestinian state that will recognize our rights to be in the neighborhood, that will renounce violence. That would be good for us. And it would be good for the region, because the rest of the region has issues too. Iran continues to threaten its neighbors. Syria is killing its own people. The one democracy that's thriving is Israel. We'd love to have a peaceful, positive neighbor next to us, the Palestinians. We think that it's good. We need to talk.
What is your position in as far as Tehran is concerned as the state of Israel?
Well, we're concerned. And not only Israel. They continue to call for the destruction of the state of Israel. You know, there's only one member of the United Nations out of 193 countries that calls for the destruction of another member of state of the United Nations. Only one example of this. Iran calls for the destruction of the state of Israel even after reaching this agreement with the P5+1. We're concerned. So is Jordan. So is Saudi Arabia. So are all the Gulf states. Everyone who lives near Iran thinks that they're violent and aggressive and a threat to our region. And we would like to see it live in peace. We'd like to see a negotiated, positive solution, and we think that a better deal is possible.
And perhaps going back to the Palestinian and Israeli matter, concessions?
Sure, but that doesn't happen on question time. It happens at a negotiating table. Like South Africans knew to sit at a table and talk, and talk, and talk some more, and reject violence, but compromised. That's what Israelis and Palestinians need to do. Israelis have shown that we know how to compromise. We'd like to see a Palestinian leader who will stand up and say, we'll compromise too.
And you're not getting one at this moment?
Well, we're ready and we're listening, and negotiations between Jerusalem and Ramallah, inshallah, will happen today, will happen tomorrow. That's what my children need, and that's what my Palestinian neighbors need too.
Okay, Dougie, you are in the Val.
Mumpa.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for the call, Dougie.
That's good. Yesterday you cut me off.
No, I didn't, Dougie. I promised there was a problem with the lines.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Listen, I want to say I'm for Israel.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. Palestine was never known as Palestine 1,000 years ago.
Okay.
It only became Palestine after Adrian conquered Jerusalem. Then it became Palestine. The Jewish nation deserves their property. It's been given to them by God, and that everybody must respect. I don't care how big the people are or they think they're big, but Israel deserves their property. It's theirs, nobody else's. Thank you very much, and I congratulate this guy for speaking so frank about Israel, because I'm for them.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dougie. Dougie is for Israel. The number 089-110-4210. How can South Africans contribute to the Israeli-Palestinian discourse?
Well, I think that by telling your story, by having relationships with all of the different sides, by offering pragmatic, positive connections, by using your history with the Palestinians. You have a solidarity and connection to the Palestinians. You should be telling them too. Compromise, make peace, learn from us. That you have to live next to another neighbor of a different kind of, living with that different kind of person who has an idea different than you, coming that with a South African accent, can have an impact, can have meaning, and can help.
Are you bothered by the South African Communist Party, COSATU, BDS?
Well, I come from a country with a vibrant democracy like yours. You know, in my region and in yours, democracy isn't something to be taken for granted, and everybody has a different point of view, and that's good, actually. It's healthy. We both know of countries in our regions where that's not possible. Yeah. But I think that the vast majority of South Africans are like our friend from Durban and our friend from the Val, that they're interested in connections. They're interested in peace. They're interested in relationships with everybody, all people in my region, that it's good for South Africa. And so I enjoy the give and take in your region. It's an exciting time, and I'm blessed to be here in your country.
We need to take the last call. Moses, you are in Limpopo. Very quickly.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yeah, brother, I need to ask you, Ambassador and representative on South Africa, Israel, why Israel always killing civilians in Gaza Strip? Always I've been heard on Al Jazeera and other media, they talk about Israeli making genocide in Palestine people. So this ambassador he talk about, he said Israeli didn't do any genocide. Last year, 2014, 2 months, he killing 2,100 people, civilians, in the Gaza Strip. So why always he's been doing this genocide since 1947 up to now, 2015?
Okay, thanks very much, Moses.
Well, we have to find a way to talk to each other. Obviously, when Israel is threatened, when missiles are sent from Israel, from Gaza, as they were a year ago at this time, Israel, like any other country, would stand up and protect itself. But I think what we need to do now is we need to find a way throughout our troubled region, with ISIS around, with Al-Qaeda around, with Al-Shabaab and with Boko Haram in Africa, to move away from the extremists, to move to the peaceful majority, which is the vast majority of Israelis and Arabs in our region, and find a way to talk and to make peace.
Are you about to invade Syria?
No, but I hope that the world stands up and finds a way to protect our neighbors from their own leader. How awful is that? Why? We wouldn't stand for it in any other part of the world. The Syrian people deserve better than Bashar al-Assad, don't they?
Ambassador Valenka, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it very much.
All right, I'm taking the tomatoes, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you. That was question time for today. A big thank you to my guest and to you for watching the show. Let's continue the discussion at Mpho Tsedu. From me and the crew, have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.